Greetings and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined as always by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And our special returning guest, Sean Donahue. Sean, how are you doing tonight?
Good. I don't know about special, but, whatever you guys think.
Well, we are big fans of you here at the channel, so we're going to say special.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, and you've been very busy since we last
had you. Yeah, I think last time we talked was right before I was about to make Fatal Desires, and then now it's, the movie's done, so a good time, and have another movie I wanted to talk about that we'll be talking about, so I think it's a good time.
Absolutely. Fatal Desires. Todd and I both saw it, and we'll have a formal review. But needless to say, we loved it. I think that's safe to assume with Todd.
You don't have to. I got a thick skin if you're just saying that. But if you really liked it, I'm glad you liked it.
Absolutely not. We've been pushing erotic thrillers on the channel for a couple years now, before the documentary came out, because we love them in general.
Well, that's really what pushed me to make that was that documentary. What's it called again?
We Kill for Love.
We Kill for Love. Like I watched that, and kind of like what they were saying, I had just kind of forgotten about the genre, and I'm like, wait a second here, this was such a huge thing, and it just kind of just went away. I'm like, no, and I was like, you know what? No one's done anything like that in a while. Even at my level or a Hollywood level, I'm like, what? Like we got to bring this back. Those were such good, movies. They were. It was. I enjoyed them, so that's why I made one.
Did you have like a particular erotic thriller that was your favorite?
So I branch erotic thrillers into two parts. You have like your Fatal Attractions, your Basic Instincts, your Disclosures, but then you have like Possessed by the Night and Inner Sanctum and
Night Eyes.
Yeah, some of the lower budgeted, usually more sleazier ones.
The good ones, you could say
that. Yeah, right. Even like some of the Wild Things sequels, like they started getting into like, I think one of the subtitles is Wild Things Threesome. Like it was just like there wasn't really much of the story at that point. They totally exploited that genre. So I like both. I like the really sleazy ones, and I like the ones with more of a story. If I had to pick one that I would put at the top of like the high-end Hollywood ones, I'd probably go with Malice. I really like the movie Malice.
Okay.
With that. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
Alec Baldwin, Nicole Kidman.
And if I was going to go with the sleazer ones, I've seen so many. But the only one that's really coming to mind right now is Possessed by the Night, with, oddly enough, was directed by Fred Olen Ray, which I didn't even know that until recently. But there's this scene in there with Shannon Tweed, and she's like working out on a Bowflex, and she's like all sweaty, and like you can see through her shirt, and you're just like waiting for it to happen. And she picks her shirt up to dry her face off. I was like, thank you.
I believe the only
one just stuck in my mind, for some reason.
Yeah, it's unique too because it takes place during Halloween, and it's
got a horror edge to it, and I think Fred talks about it in the documentary, or I don't know where I heard him talk about it, and that's what he wanted to try to do something different. He's like, hey, let's have a reason why they're getting naked. They're possessed.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really cool take on it.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's a very good answer. But yeah, so Fatal Desires, you've your first erotic thriller, and I think you really hit the mood right. The music, the story, which we won't give away. Just everything I thought came off really well.
I was really happy with the results. So before I get into that, so a few people have watched it, a couple of friends, a couple of reviewers. Some of them haven't gotten their official review, but someone had watched it and they said I might make some people upset here. They were expecting a lot more nudity, especially coming from me. And I told them, I was like, with that movie, I was going for more of the Basic Instinct, Fatal Attraction stuff, rather than the other kind of stuff, which for me, that might be odd because you would think Sean's absolutely going to go the other way. Here's the thing. I guess the reason I didn't, my movies in general are like that. You know,
Right.
I push that. So I was like, well, I kind of want to make something a little more with a little more production value, you know. And anytime I've only done that a couple times. Usually when I do it, it's an epic fail. Most people are like, you know, couldn't some heads explode and some girls. Everyone else is like, well, I've done that already, you know.
Yeah.
No, I think you hit the perfect tone. Like, I don't think there's a lack of nudity in it, but I also get what you mean. Like people expecting like something different, but I love that.
Well, you know, I think they were expecting like Escort Service, and I'm like, well, just watch Escort Service.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like this isn't that. You know,
I
could have made Escort Service into an erotic thriller if I really wanted to, and just paced it differently, done different lighting, had different dialogue. It could totally be that, but this is its own thing. So, you know.
Yeah, and it was great seeing Erin Brown, the former Misty Mundae, playing kind of a somewhat different character. Jessa, even a little bit out of her element, and I thought they were both just fantastic.
I thought, you know, so funny story about the cast is only about 25% of it is who I originally had cast or wanted in the movie. Throughout the course of it, people kept dropping off. That was hands down the hardest movie I've ever had to cast. People kept coming in and leaving. I'm like, are you going to do this? And it's a genre I'd like to revisit. But the hardest part was casting the movie, just getting people to do it. And which was weird because I'm like, I've made movies that were way more audacious and disgusting, and like I got people dropping out of this, but hey, whatever. You know, with that being said, I'm glad it worked out the way it did. Like I said, I was really happy. I was happy with the result of the movie. And I don't say that often, believe it or not. I don't like most of my movies, but this one I did. So.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people who remember the heyday of Night Eyes and these films that really just filled the shelves at your local video store and, you know, HBO.
It's like all about the similar to horror. It's all about the covers, you know. I mean, here I got something handy, like, you know, the Seduction.
Oh yeah.
You put some girl on the cover. The title is key, you know, Fatal Desires. Like that title's on purpose. You know, you add some kind of death and sex element to a title, and then you're a win. You know.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you compare like your Death Escort Service films, which obviously we love here at the channel. But like I remember back in the day, like my ex-girlfriend, it was like, you know, I'd probably get in trouble showing her Death Escort Service, but I could show her
I've gotten that from people a couple times over the years. They're like, my girlfriend got mad at me when I was watching it. I'm sorry.
We should have been known better in that case, but yeah, no, I the tone, and I can imagine it's hard to go back because these movies really haven't been made in so long to hit that. The music and everything was that I'm sorry, I don't have in front of me who did the music, but I thought that really
I went through like 2 or 3. So my original guy, he had heart issues that's worked on almost all my movies. Toshiyuki Hiroka, so he couldn't do it. And then I won't name any names, but I had someone work on it, and it just didn't work out. And then we went with a new guy, total new guy to me, Chris Dale, which is the same gentleman who scored Screw Year's Eve for my friend Richard Tanner, which I wrote that movie. I don't know if you guys remember hearing about that. That's not out yet either, but it's supposed to come out later. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's all about who you know. You know, because I knew Richard and he worked in this movie, knew this guy. He's like, yeah, use this score guy, and you know, that's how things happen a lot.
Yeah, the music adds so much to an erotic thriller.
I was very happy with the music too.
Yeah, it was great. What was it like working with the cast? I know some you've worked with before, but how did that go on set? I'm sure it must have been.
It was, you know, I mean, it was smooth, but the days were hard and long. You know, the cast was great. You know, I can't name one of them that wasn't on point, but you know, it was a lot of setup. You know, my lighting gaffer guy, you know, he had a lot of work to do. You know, because I wanted, for certain scenes, I wanted a certain look, you know, and you know, it took him a while to set up, but yeah, man, it went pretty good. I mean, I want to say day one was like a 15 or no, it was like a 17-hour day.
Oh wow!
And I actually wanted to keep going, and every single person in the room was against it. And I'm like, because once I get going in that mode, and like I could have went 24 hours, but everyone wanted to stab me. Which I look back now, I'm glad we didn't, because we, you know, it was day one, we were at the main location, the house, and the final thing I had slated for that day was the end scene of the movie. Okay. So everyone was really tired by then, and it definitely would have made it worse, because when your actors are tired, your tour is tired, things get missed, things get overlooked, you know. And I'm glad we didn't push it, and everyone said, "Hey, Sean, do it tomorrow."
Yeah. I believe. Have you used Elise Winkler before?
Alice Winkler.
Alice. Okay.
No, this is the first time for her. I've wanted to work with her for a while.
She was fantastic. Yeah,
we've chatted back and forth. I want to say I approached her for some movie. So funny story about her. So, you know, we had an actress unfortunately bail out of this movie, and we shot some scenes with her, and then she decided she didn't want to do it, which was terrible. Yeah, so when I was kind of casting this movie, I don't even know if I was casting. I might have just been talking about it. And Alice had private messaged me. She said, "Yeah, I'd love to be in this." And we started talking. I was like, "Man, I'd love to work with you, but you know, the fact is, you know, you live out of state, and I have to fly in. That's more budget, you know." But I was like, "I'll think about it." So then once said actress bailed out, she was at the top of my brain. I was like, you know what? She wanted to do it, you know. And now I was like, I just want someone who's a guarantee. Someone's going to show up and do the job. If I fly her in, she has to.
Yeah.
not saying that she wouldn't. She's a very dedicated actress. But you know, when you fly people in and they're staying here, they almost, you know, on an indie level, they don't have a choice but to act in your movie. It's like, what else are they going to do? You know, they don't have a car. It's like, I'm taking you to set, putting you in front of the camera, say something. But yeah, I was just happy with the way everything worked out, and it was nice to finally work with her, and I would work with her again.
She's fast becoming one of my favorites. I'm glad she ended up in it. She was just in that movie Hush not too long ago, and I think that's when I really was like, okay, she's one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, she's been doing it for a while. I like Amazon Hot Dog.
I was gonna say she's in
there.
Yeah,
she doesn't have a huge part, but she's in that. Plank Face, Embalmers. She's in a lot of stuff, man. I can't keep up with it all, but I've always liked her and wanted to work with her. So I'm glad it worked out this time around.
Yeah, and of course, you are also, I think it's okay to say, in this movie yourself, which
so that's not anyone who bailed out or anything. I chose to do that role because honestly, and I'm not trying to talk myself up. I'm just saying I don't know anyone that I could have had that would have done a better job at that role than me. Like, I just don't have that kind of actor around.
You were great. I loved your part of the movie too.
Yeah. My favorite line, not to give too much away, was, "How dare she die before we wrap production?"
Yeah. I'm glad I was so, people laughed on set when we were reading it, when I said it. I'm like, because that particular type of guy, you know, so that character, I didn't base him off of anyone specifically. It's almost like he's a combination of like a bunch of people I've seen over the years in these sleazy movies, a sleazy director or a photographer that just, you know, he's got an ego the size of freaking Jupiter, and and you know, and no offense, you know, he's European, and he's just got an attitude, and I just took all that, rolled it up, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly how I'm going to play this part.
Yeah, well, you're hilarious in this. I hope we see future roles
awards for that. I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible. But yeah, no. We've been on the channel for years now, just saying it's like, why did these movies go away? I mean, I guess modern sensibilities, I guess. I don't know, but
I mean, I think it's a combination of things. We live in a much more soft, politically correct world, and that doesn't fit in there. Then streaming is really becoming more and more heavily censored, so they don't want that kind of stuff, and it just kind of got weeded out, And then too, I think also, I mean, those movies, a lot of them, they were, movies that would come on late at night on your Cinemax or HBO or Playboy Channel, stuff like that, or Spice TV. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously those don't exist anymore, really. And now, I think for men or adolescents looking for that type of thing, because as a young boy, my age, you grew up with Playboy and Penthouse and Cinemax, or, if you were poor like me, you had to, mess with the rabbit ears to catch a, you didn't have Cinemax, so you mess with the antenna. Nowadays, younger men are, going to OnlyFans or, certain websites that just cater to that. It's more of a web thing rather than what's on TV. It's streaming, I don't know. It's just the scope of things has changed, and I think that type of movie just doesn't really work anymore for a mass market.
I think you'll be surprised when this comes out, because I hear from a lot of people, it's just like, we miss it. We don't understand. Like, it's
right.
I mean, over at least the last 20 years, you're hard pressed. I mean, there might be one kind of sort of here or there, but it's a rarity. And,
I'm hoping this, I mean, given this is a lower budget independent movie, but I hope more people hear about it and see that it came out this year and that it inspires more people to make stuff like that. I know both Brian Williams and Paul Ragsdale. I think they might even have scripts, because I talked to both of them. And then, I was like, well, I'm making one. I think both of them, I won't say it, but I think they were both maybe a little jealous. I'm like, well, I'm doing this. So, I'm the first one to make the comeback. But hey, I hope those guys make theirs, man. I'd like to see more of these. I'll watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know both of those guys. Yeah, we put out great stuff too. We'd love to see their take on it also.
Yeah, exactly. So and I mean, we're kind of the new school, for that kind of stuff. You got like me and Paul, and like I said, Brian. I mean, there's a bunch of other people. They're escaping me, but it was just like the days of Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski and David Dakota. Those were the guys back then that were doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what you guys are doing essentially now. You're taking that spot, and that's the kind of stuff we love and yearn for.
And look at me now. I'm teaming up with Fred Olen Ray. How cool is that?
That is amazing. And 30th anniversary of Jacko, which I didn't
even realize that. So I'm kind of late to the Jacko party. I think I watched when they had the Blu-ray release a couple years ago. I bought one. It was actually when I was running Tampa Bay Screams, it was specific to that event. Like, it just came out. And then I think I ended up giving it to a friend, and I don't know what happened to it. Then I recently, now that I'm going to be working on the sequel, I rewatched it on Tubi, just kind of familiarize myself with it. But like I said, I'm late to the party on Jacko.
It's one of those movies that I remember coming out back in the day, and the reviews weren't super kind, but it's become this huge cult classic, and I know so many people that listen to our show love it. I mean, when we put up the graphic for this, there's like, oh my God, Jacko 2 is actually happening. This is awesome.
I didn't realize it. And Fred had told me that it had a huge following. I was like, I missed it. I didn't know about the movie or anything like that. And, Fred wants to make the sequel. So Fred, you probably might know, he didn't direct the first one. He wrote it and he produced it. So this one he's directing. So, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And also, Fred hasn't. I don't think he's made. I hate to say this, but like one of his style movies in a while. Like he's, for the past decade, he's been, working on these Hallmark films. So it'll be interesting to see him get back in the saddle and do the type of movie that his following really not that he doesn't have people that enjoy his Christmas movies, but he started doing this kind of stuff. So it'd be cool to come back.
Yeah, he's always been so diverse. It's like you get the Hallmark Christmas movie. Then
oh yeah, man. I mean, I don't think there's a genre he hasn't directed. I think he's done it all, man. And that's kind of where I kind of want to be. I want to do a little bit of everything. I mean, I got an idea for an action flick. I've kind of done a drama. I've never done a comedy. So if I do a comedy, though, it's got to be a sex comedy. I like those kinds of movies. So I had one I was going to make years ago. It was called Zonkers, and
great title.
Yeah, and I like the cover of the movie was like this giant pair of breasts, and these two guys are like being squeezed in between it, in a t-shirt. Because I just remember that might even already be taken, but I'm going to do it again anyway. I just remember seeing like box art like that when I was younger, and I had a whole idea for it, and I started writing it, and then I actually gave up on it because I'm like, this won't turn a profit nowadays. It's just going to be a losing battle. Unfortunately, that's how I thought about it.
You might be surprised. I mean, it's another thing that everybody asks for. It's like, where's this generation's Animal House or American Pie, or there isn't.
I think so. I think I know what the problem is. Guys like us would like it. We want it, but I don't want to ask how old you guys are, but I know you're at least around my age. The younger generation, I'd say, under 30, they don't understand that stuff. It's weird to them.
I've been saying that for a while. My thing is, I feel like to them, that's like a private thing. They look at on their phone or on their computer. They don't want to see like boobs on a movie screen or with
it's like scary. It's like, whoa, can you do that? Like that doesn't make sense to them, and I think that would freak them out. They're like, you can't do that, that's pornography. Or that's every movie I make, they say it's pornography. So I mean, I can only imagine if Hollywood did something like that, they'd probably set the theater on fire or something. I don't know.
I think there's still just something hilarious about an awkward guy trying to get laid, and that's
but that's not politically correct.
Yeah, I get it.
Like you can't do that. That's the problem. Like I can do it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Hollywood's not going to do that. I was watching some. I wouldn't even call it a podcast. It was some kind of commercial on YouTube right before, I got on with you guys, and they were talking about 10 movies that weren't banned, but they're not. They're slowly getting weeded out. One of them was Soul Man, which I understand. There was a whole big list, and for some reason I can't remember all of them. But one of them, I was like, man, they're trying to get rid of that movie, and it was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I'm like, dude, I saw that in the theater, it was hilarious. And then they said why. I'm like, because the end of the movie, the gender reveal thing. I was like, I forgot about that. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, whatever.
Revenge of the Nerds is another one. Yeah,
that's one that they mentioned. Revenge of the Nerds. Song of the South was on there. Yeah, which I understand. I understand that one.
Overboard, which is PG, I believe. That's
Overboard?
One. Sex by Deception, if you think about it.
I'm not.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, her memory's gone, and he's basically pretending to be her husband.
It's called Hoverboard?
No, Overboard.
Oh, Overboard. They said Hoverboard. Oh, yes, I've seen Overboard. Yeah, I mean, but see, when I watched it, I didn't think of it that way. I'm like, but I think that's the problem is when those movies came out, people didn't like overjudge them. They're like, I laughed at it and moved on,
Yeah.
Like I remember seeing Soul Man in the theater, and there was all kinds of people watching it. I don't remember there being any kind of real backlash until recently. You're like, oh yeah. But then you have a movie like White Chicks, which that doesn't have any problem. So I'm like, well, that's not really fair, I don't think.
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder is another one too.
Oh, Tropic Thunder, yeah. That's one of the last true comedies. Some could argue. It's funny now. It's like they still they try and do like a modern take on it. There's been a lot of like female-led sex comedies, and I've had this discussion. I'm like, it doesn't really work because the concept, women can go get laid.
Yeah, exactly. Like the common. I mean, oh man, do I have it handy? You ever see a movie called Hot Moves?
Yes.
So I don't know if you realize this, but American Pie basically ripped that movie off.
Yeah.
It's the same exact story. But yeah, it's about 4 or 5 guys. They got a mission, to go out, get laid. Like you just said, if it's like 4 chicks, okay, it's our mission. It's going to be about a 5-minute movie.
Yeah.
It's just the way our society is set up. It's like, well, it's for guys, you got to put a little work in,
Yeah, it's a struggle. Women just put it out there.
Here it is. Come get it. Look at Bonnie Blue.
Yeah. Indy brings up.
He put it out there for 1,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. But Indy brings up the last American Pie movie, Girls Rule, and that was one where they gender reversed it, and
it doesn't work.
I didn't even see that. I mean, they're up to, how many sequels have they made on that thing?
I think that's there's the 4, I think that's like 8 or 9 at this point.
Wow. Yeah, I saw like the first 3, because I think in the first 3 it's like the original cast. I think, aren't they doing like a reunion one?
That's always been talked about. I know that there seems to be movement on it. I know there's the 4 theatricals and then the 4, or I think it's 5 now, straight to video ones.
Yeah, I kind of stopped keeping up with those. I fell off. The first
I'll be honest.
I like the first one, and then I thought everyone after that was a little bit weaker.
The straight to video ones are just basically all sex comedies. They're not. Yeah. They were smart with that at least.
Right. Yeah, well, I'll have to check them out at some point.
Yeah. That last one, I'm like, these girls are not going to have any problem. None of these scenes make any sense.
I mean, that type of, okay, did you see the movie Neighbors with Zac Efron?
Yeah.
And then they made the sequel it was more about a sorority.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in a situation I would consider that a sex comedy, and it worked, but their mission wasn't to get laid. It was just to run the sorority and run their neighbors out. So, if they get laid, that's just kind of something that happens. I think in a situation like that, it can work.
Yeah.
For a sex comedy type movie.
Yeah. You gotta flip the script a little bit if you're going to do it with women.
It's just,
I mean, you certainly have the cast, people that you've worked with that would be great in a sex comedy. DeAndre Noor, who I thought was fantastic in this, in Fatal Desires, is Todd. Jessa Flux, I can see.
Jessa Jupiter Flux. Don't forget the middle name.
Jessa Jupiter Flux. Yes, I'm still
yeah. So with that being said, I'll let something out of the bag that I wasn't going to. So the plan, I've been doing about 1 movie a year since I've been making movies. So next year there's already a plan, and we're making Die Delta Pi 2. So that's really, I mean, it's a horror movie, but if you look at the first one, there's a lot of comical stuff in it. That's probably the closest I've ever gotten to a sex comedy is Die Delta Pi. So the second one's going to have the same kind of feel. It's going to have some raunchy jokes and, reasons for girls to take their shirt off that don't matter. So, that's what we're going to be doing next year. But maybe one day I'll make Zonkers. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully.
If anybody ever accuses you of being gratuitous, just throw out Skyscraper with Anna Nicole Smith.
I like that movie.
She can find a reason to take a shower even when terrorists are trying to take over a boat. So you're good.
Yeah, she's in a couple of sleazy movies that I liked.
To the Limit's the other big one that she's.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a good one too. Yeah. I like her in Naked Gun 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a sex comedy, but there's raunchy jokes in those movies,
Yeah. That one,
and sexual, innuendos, stuff like that. But nowadays, you don't get that anymore. And with that being said, I saw the new Naked Gun. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, I did check it out.
I still need to.
So for me, I won't give too much away. It worked about half the time. Some of the jokes really actually hit good, and I thought they were funny, but then some stuff just wasn't working for me at all. It was just like, it was kind of 5 or 6 out of 10 for me on that one.
I've heard.
And they gave away most of the good stuff in the trailers, but you can tell it's a Seth MacFarlane movie, so it has a different feel than the other ones. But
well, I think too. I mean, so I was skeptical about Liam Neeson, playing Leslie Nielsen's, successor, and I thought he actually did a good job. My issue wasn't with him, but I don't know that there's anyone other than Leslie Nielsen that can do that type of humor as good as him. Like, it was a specific type of way that he would deliver things, and it just I can't think of any actor nowadays that could do that.
Yeah, I don't think there is another Leslie Nielsen.
No, there unfortunately not. I mean, and all the Airplane, Spy Hard. I mean, there's all the movies he was in. He had that certain type of humor he would do. With that being said, I really like him in his serious roles too, like in what's the George Romero, Stephen King thing?
Creepshow.
Creepshow. Yeah,
he's awesome
crazy in that thing. There's another movie he's in where it's like they're stranded on an island and he's like a total asshole.
Day of the Animals.
I think that's what it's called, something like that. Yeah, if that's not the title, it's something like that. He was an asshole in that, and I'm like, and it was so weird. I was like, that guy's a really good actor because he can do this goofy comedy and then just be a villain,
That's so cool when you see like an actor. I don't know if this is done well enough for Liam Neeson to just be the comedy guy now, but it's like you go from Schindler's List to Naked Gun.
I did not even think of that. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we have this star actor, and two, like, I mean, besides that, he's done these what are the movies like? I've got a set of skills that will
Taken. Yeah, he became the actor.
Yeah, so I think they made 2 or 3 of those, and then there's 3 other movies that are just like it that all star him too.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's like, okay, Liam, yes, and the thing is, I like those movies, but it started to get redundant, and I'm like, this is the guy that we chose for that role. So with that being said, like I said, I liked him in the role. It's just, I think for me, like, maybe the writing wasn't working for me a lot of times.
He needed to just grab his daughter and just stop fucking getting kidnapped.
Well, I was talking about the Naked Gun. That too. I mean, the writing that was just redundant. It's like it's the same story over and over.
I think it's wild that Liam Neeson is dating Pam Anderson now. That's
are you serious? I didn't know that.
He's dating her. I don't between him and Tommy Lee. I mean, I don't know how she still was.
Well, that was years ago, man. Yeah, it was nice to see Pamela Anderson, and she's been in a couple funny movies over the years. Like, she's in. It was on TV, Scary Movie 3. Like, she's in that.
Yeah.
A couple other things I'm leaving out, but it was cool to see her because when that Baywatch movie came out, she's got like a cameo.
Right.
And I thought for sure they were going to do something with her. I don't know why they didn't, or maybe she didn't want to. And I'm like, come on, it's Baywatch the movie. You got to give her something.
Yeah.
They didn't. They gave her like, here's a hair flip and out.
Todd blew my mind the other day. He was like telling me that when she did that Borat thing where he tries to kidnap her, that's what broke her up with Kid Rock. Because I guess she didn't tune him into what was going to happen. But yeah, no, I mean, so Fatal Desires, we love it. Do you have any screenings coming up right now?
Yeah. So we do. So I guess the best thing to promote for it, September 24th, 7 p.m. at the Sunray Cinemas, University Mall, Tampa. We'll be having a premiere. Tickets are $10. Go online if you're in the area. Sunray Cinemas, you'll find it, and there'll be a box where you hit the date, September 24th, 7 p.m., and we're showing it then.
Awesome. I know we know some people in Tampa that'll have to definitely go down to check that out. It's got to be cool finally seeing it on the big screen. So is that your first screening for this?
Yeah, for sure. I used to do premieres all the time at theaters. I haven't done that since 2019 for The Heartbreak Killer. I kind of got away from it because unfortunately people just stopped showing up, man. Like, early on in my career, we get a lot more people to come out, but getting people, at least in my area, to come out an indie movie, you almost gotta beg them. You know, I don't know what it's. Well, I do kind of know. In other areas up north, it seems like there's just a better following for independent movies. Like down here, I don't know, man. Like, not to shit on my own, but like people just don't give a shit down here.
That's sad to hear. Florida has such a rich history. I mean, blood, guts.
Well, it's a great. Well, I think people get confused because you got guys like me and Tim Ritter and Joel Wynkoop and Chris Woods and all these guys who've made stuff down here. Now you got Fred Olen Ray, which actually started down here. We'll come back to that. I think it's a great place to make something. You know, if you shoot it in the right time of year, the weather's great, a lot of lush locations, a lot of stuff that's easy to get and cheap. But the demand for fans watching that kind of stuff down here is not great. It really isn't. You know, I wish it wasn't that way, but I've been doing this for 15 years. When I do a Indiegogo, about the least popular state I ship stuff to is Tampa, Florida.
Oh, that's wild. But we do encourage you guys to go out. What's the theater again?
Sunray Cinemas in the University Mall in Tampa.
Okay, University Mall. Yeah, guys, go check that out.
And what was the date again, JG, Mike?
September 24th.
September 24th.
Here, I got here. Here's the one and only. I used to make a bunch of these, but I only made one. Here's the official Fatal Desires 11x17 poster.
Nice.
Awesome.
I know I got one of those for Swamp.
I'm trying to get some of the cast to sign it at the premiere, and I'm hoping to have the Blu-rays by then too. So
nice.
We'll see.
I know I definitely did the crowdfunding thing for that because got to have that in the collection.
Yeah. You guys talked about that. I appreciate it, man. I mean, everything.
I haven't done the new one.
I hope the movie does do well. I mean, that to date is my most successful crowdfunding. So, I mean, I guess maybe the demand is there, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd like to revisit that genre, possibly maybe even a sequel to that. But, I'd like to see other people kind of help, pick up steam with the genre. Like I said, maybe Paul and Brian Williams, they'll make theirs.
Yeah.
I caught something early on in the film. I don't think it's a spoiler. I want to say Hacienda Heights. So were you just trying to imply it was in California? Was that the whole?
No, not at all. There's a hotel down here called Hacienda Heights.
Okay. See, my brain, because there's a Hacienda Heights in California. And
that's totally accident.
Okay. That feels very Erotic Thriller because most of them were.
So I was trying to shoot at a hotel called Hacienda Heights down here, and it didn't work out, but I just left it in the script.
No, well, it worked because I was like, okay, so we're in California. That makes sense.
Okay, well, cool. That happy accident. Actually, yeah, we kind of. I mean, any questions you want to, within reason, you want to ask about the movie without giving too much away, I'll, answer them.
I know one we had on Discord a while ago was. Do you have an all time? I mean, it doesn't have to just be this movie, but a blooper that really stands out where something just went wrong and it was hilarious.
Oh man!
Or maybe it's hilarious now, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not in the moment.
I definitely have moments like that and stuff that's made it into the movie. I can't think of that though, man. I mean, there's I've worked on over 50 movies. It's hard to remember that kind of stuff. I guess one that kind of sticks out is on Heartbreak Killer, and it's on the Blu-ray. Is 8 the Chosen One. We're doing an office scene, and he's on the phone, and he just has this goofy face, and he's dialing, and my DP just started losing it, laughing, and we put it, if you watch the movie after the credits roll, we put that scene in there, and then I started laughing, and I'm like, what the hell is so funny? So the DP guy who's shooting it, he's a very mild mannered, doesn't laugh at shit, and he just lost it. I'm like, he's like, it's just his face, he just looked funny. So that's what we actually had, something like that, and we have a clip of it too. Fatal Desires, the first night we were shooting, the lighting gaffer started to become freaking hysterical, well, I don't want to give too much away, but there's this scene that happens. It's not even funny, but he just could not stop laughing, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and as funny as it was, and everyone was laughing, I'm like, you guys got to stop laughing so we can just finish. So it happens on sets, it's kind of contagious. Someone will just laugh at something that, sometimes, I mean, when I watch my movies, I'll think something's going to be really funny, and it'll be planned that way. And that's why it's good to watch it in a group of people in a premiere. And then you'll watch it, and sometimes it doesn't hit with those people, and you're like, oh, man. But then they'll laugh at something that you totally thought was not going to work at all. And they're like, they find that funny? So it's always interesting to see what, how people actually, view your movies. So I don't know. That's what I'll say about that.
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, this was what was Erin Brown like on set? I have had the pleasure of talking to her over the years at different things, and it's kind of cool now seeing her kind of step into different roles than she had during her Seduction Cinema run as Misty Mundae.
I mean, so I'm embarrassed to say, like, I don't know her whole catalog. I mean, I would think she's done some type of erotic thriller, based on what I've heard. I mean,
she kind of sort of back then, I guess. She's had a couple kind of horror oriented ones, but I want to say this is her first like authentic erotic thriller, if I recall.
Right. Yeah, no, she was cool to work with. So we had to shoot her scenes twice, unfortunately, because that was, like I said, we had that actress bail out. So when I contacted her and I was like, hey, Erin, got some good news and bad news. You got to practice it once, but would you be willing to come out again? And, it took her a minute, and I kind of had to do some swaying, and she was a sport and came out and did it. And that was probably, honestly, the smoothest day, because she's in, a few scenes in the movie that, were kind of spread out, but when we shot it, we just shot them back to back. That was probably the easiest day of shooting, because it's, most of it was during the daytime. The location we had was just easy to maneuver around, and I don't know. She was cool to work with. I never worked with her before. I knew she'd done a lot of stuff, so she definitely came in and did a good job. I'd work with her again.
Yeah, she's really been reinventing herself.
She was a pro. Like when she came in, and I was hearing my dialogue back, she wasn't just like reading it. Like, she kind of added some character to it, and I think that's what good seasoned actors do. They kind of, they put a little pizzazz on it. They're not just like, hey, how are you? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
She I didn't even have to really coach her on it, because we just went in there. I usually have my actors, if they're going to do dialogue practice with the opposite actor, I gave them a few minutes, then we set them up and was like, okay, roll. And, I don't think I did very many takes with her or Alice when we were shooting their scenes.
Everybody, they're all fantastic.
And that was my favorite location in the movie too, where we shot all their stuff.
Okay. So Jacko, I know you're new to the first movie, but certainly I if I recall last time you grew up with Fred Olen Ray, like we all have.
Oh yeah, I've seen a bunch of his stuff, but yeah, I am kind of new to the Jacko club.
Is it surreal at this point, like working with them, because it's just like
absolutely, So when I was a teenager, I watched his movies, and I didn't necessarily know his name or who he was until later. I just happened to watch these movies, and I'm like, wait a second, this guy's name is on a lot of stuff. And then, him and Jim Wynorski, like they were two of my favorites. And I guess it was either 2021 or 2022. There was a convention happening in Fort Lauderdale, and Fred was one of the guests. I'm like, oh man, I was like, I got to go meet this guy. I've been a fan of his for years. So I gathered up a bunch of DVDs, and I took the trip down there, which was cool because my parents lived down there, so I had a place to stay. So I went over to this convention, and God bless them, it was their first year trying to do a convention in South Florida. And like I told you earlier, Florida's not a great place for this kind of stuff. That convention was a complete bomb. I think 5 people showed up. It was really, I felt bad for the guy. With that being said, I got to meet Fred. We had a long talk, because I told him I was a filmmaker, and he started. A lot of times when I, meet a lot of these celebrities, and I don't necessarily tell them that, but sometimes it'll just come out, and they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Like he really had a lot of questions for me, and I had some of my movies on. I was like, well, I have some. Do you want? I think I gave him like Naked Cannibal Campers, Sushi Sex Seance. and Died Pie, something like that. And we just started going back and forth online, like just chit-chatting and answering questions. And then eventually he moved up here. Like he was living in Fort Lauderdale, and he lives 30 minutes away from me. And we went out to lunch a few times, and we started talking, and he's telling me he wants to do a project here, and he asked me to be a producer on it. I'm like, hell yeah, man. And the rest is history. We're raising money for it. If you haven't already, I'm not talking to you guys.
Well, I will definitely be too. I dropped the link in the chat.
Check out the campaign.
Oh, yeah, we'll drop that link again too.
Then you have some other legends attached to Jacko too.
Yeah, Sybil Danning,
Yeah.
So that's really cool. William Graffey, I don't know if you guys are super familiar with him.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Drive-In.
I got his here, hold on a second. Only because it's right here. His box set.
Yes, I do as well. He is
pick that up.
Oh, that is such a good set too.
Yeah.
If you're into drive-in cinema and you don't know William's work, like, guys, get that set. It is
right. And he's a Florida guy, and like I said, Fred started down here, so it's really like he's come full circle, So it's nice to have him back, and I hope he keeps making stuff. I hope it doesn't just stop with Jacko too. I hope we have a good experience, and he'll want to start making more stuff, in the area.
It always blew my mind. I remember back in the day, of course, Evil Tunes, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. He just so many movies that I grew up with. And then I'm like, wait, he's in pro wrestling too?
Yeah. Another thing I didn't know until I got to know him. He showed me some old pictures and was telling. I was like, interesting. I was like, I had no idea. I'm not, I don't want to upset anyone. I'm not the biggest wrestling fan, so that's probably one of the reasons why I didn't know. But it was I definitely didn't know that he was into wrestling. So that was really kind of cool to find that out.
Yeah. I just remember, like, my God, it's just like everything we love. God, Fred Olen Ray is just
he's a Renaissance man. He can do it all. So, it'll be interesting to see how he does things. I've never worked with him. And he's never worked with me either. So right now, we're just doing a lot of pre-planning, talking about locations and wardrobe and things like that. And, the plan is to shoot it this November. Okay. So hopefully by then we got everything worked out. We just get the camera and the crew, and we get there and we make it happen.
Yeah, and there's a lot of awesome perks for this, and I know you're very early in the process, obviously, but anybody out there watching this, you get yourself an exclusive poster. There's a lot of great perks, and we dropped the link in the chat and the description.
Yeah, so. Get the movie firsthand. That's the best way to do it.
I'll definitely be getting the signed slipcover version when I go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yep, that's there. And as well as the original Jacko. So I thought that movie had went out of print, but I guess apparently it didn't. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think the first one comes with a slipcover. I think it's just the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think there was one that was way in the first printing, but
it had like Linnea's autograph. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's just the movie, but hey, I thought they were out of print altogether, so that's cool that the physical version of the movie's still around.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Fred will sign those, so you're gonna get an autograph.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be a premiere for that, Todd. I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna push for a premiere. Hopefully things work out at this new cinema, and I'll say, hey, Fred, why don't we try at this place? And I'm sure he'd probably want to show it in other places too. Once it's all said and done.
Yeah, maybe Alamo Draft House. I could see being interested. I don't know if they're down in Florida or not, but
no, we don't have those, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad, but. Yeah.
But we'll see. That's all up to Fred. What he wants to do with it after once it's made and everything.
Yeah. JG asks, is there any? Oh, there you go. You're ahead on it, Todd. Is there any way to get the physical Blu-ray and Fred's book, which is fantastic
as a perk? I think
on the campaign.
There you go. Perfect.
So I think what he might be asking, I think maybe he wants those combined. You got to buy them separate. Because here's the deal. So Fred and I talked about that because we got people like, hey, can I have this combined with it? We already have a lot of combinations. What you see is what's there. We unfortunately we just can't. It's a lot of work on our end to do all that. So if you do want the book and the Blu-ray, you gotta buy them separate.
Okay.
But I recommend. I mean, the first perk that's on there that's featured, it's called The Works. You literally get everything. You get Jacko 1, Jacko 2 with slipcover. You get the digital poster, the digital script, coffee mug, T-shirts. And Fred's book.
Yeah.
It's $150, and if you add up the price of those things all together, I think it's over $200. So that'd be the most cost-effective one. That's what I try to point people towards, and it helps.
It does, and he's got so many great stories in that book. I mean,
okay, so I think we might have talked. You read the book?
Yeah.
I read it too, and yes, there are some amazing. I'll probably eventually reread it one day. I've never reread, maybe like one other book. I don't reread too many books, but that's one I would revisit for sure.
Yeah, he's led one hell of a life, and I highly recommend that book.
And I mean, he started out, kind of like me, like, he didn't necessarily have any ties, but he's just like guy that wanted to make a movie, and things just kept working out for him. And, that's what I've always found interesting. So
yeah, if you're an aspiring filmmaker out there, which I know we have in the chat, like, I do recommend it because, he wasn't like born in, had to have some in the industry. I mean, he just, the way he did it, and again, just the cross genres that he's managed to pull off. I mean, a lot of people get kind of pigeonholed in one genre, and I think you're doing that. You're carrying on the tradition, branching out to different things, and I think that's really awesome. Yeah, like
I said, I hope to do more stuff. We'll just kind of see how it goes. I don't have like a long-term plan. Like like I said, year to year is really where I said, okay, I'm going to make this, and that's where how I've been kind of doing it.
You gotta. I know Fred's booked him. You got to get iced tea. That's when you iced tea.
I don't know who I'm going to get to work with. It's always interesting. Some of the people I've crossed paths with. I'm trying to think of more popular. We've had Evan. Evan Stone is.
Yes.
Adult films. I've worked with him. He's in 2 of my movies. Small part. I met him at a restaurant. Just say like, hey, you want to be in a movie? And he's like, sure. Will you pay me? I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $100. So I just shot some random stuff with him, and then I just cut that into a couple of my movies. And he was really fun to work with. Like, he was really easygoing.
Yeah,
had a good attitude. Like, he was a lot of fun. I would totally work with Evan again. And actually, he's in a few of Fred's films.
Yeah, several of them.
Yeah. And me and Fred were talking about that because I think I was watching a movie and Evan was in it, and I was like, yeah, I've worked with him several times, and he had a good experience with him too. Evan's a great guy, man. Maybe we'll get him for this. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Sometimes people don't reach out to like adult actors, and I'm always like,
well, Fred does.
Yeah.
The list goes on. And he's got some, more on the sleazier side stuff, and it's a bunch of adult film actors.
But like you can be surprised with somebody like Evan. I'm like, I'd cast that guy in an action.
Oh yeah, he's a great actor. Like, I'd put him in a total straight role. Look at like Tracy Lords. There's people that eventually, they go the other way or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with it. They want to stay in that, but they're still actors, man.
Yeah.
We got a couple questions. I'm not sure this one. Is it okay to ask how Steve Latshaw got involved? I legit like Jacko and wish he'd talk more about it.
So, not that I can't say anything on that. I just really don't have a lot of information on that. Fred's tied him into the movie. He was the director of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know much past that. I've never met the guy. I don't really know him well at all. I just recently friended him on Facebook, and I don't have any information on that one.
All right. And then Ben has a question too. What's his prize prop from one of his movies?
Fred Olen Ray?
No, I believe I believe Ben's asking you.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Do you have a prize prop from
probably? So I'm really bad about keeping props. I sell freaking everything.
I remember you mentioned that last time.
The one prop, I wish I had it here. I pull it out for you guys. It's in the other room. The one prop that I've managed to keep, and it's probably the best one out of everything I've done, is the baseball bat used in desk court service with the barbed wire. That's the only prop I've really held on to. And I got hard up one time, and I tried selling it, and it was a decent amount of money I was asking for it. I'm kind of glad it didn't sell because I was like, I got to keep something, man. So I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of that anytime soon.
Yeah. I saved a couple things.
Right, but I'm big on that, man. I'm like, the way I look at it, if I have fans, they should have that stuff. I shouldn't have it. I don't believe in holding on to that stuff. Like some of my other director friends, they can't come off of anything. I'm like, it doesn't help build anything if you hold on to it. It makes these people happy. They're the ones who want it. So, yeah. I mean, when a movie's done, you've seen my campaigns. I'm selling, so-and-so blew their nose. Erin Brown blew her nose this tissue. You want to buy it?
That might fund your movie if the right person pays it.
So,
Dan's getting his wallet ready.
I sell everything,
All right, Indy has a question. What was the hardest scene to direct in any of your films?
Hardest scene to direct in any of my movies? Probably going back to Heartbreak Killer, because we had one actor play two roles, so sometimes they have to talk to each other, and it's the same guy. So what I would do, so the other eight's bald like me, so I would put on the same color T-shirt he was wearing, and I'd stand in front of the camera, so you'd see like my shoulder, and then he'd be over there, and then we'd flip sides, or sometimes I'd wear a wig, and he was talking to himself. So it's acting and directing at the same time. I don't know if people understand how hard that is, and like directing yourself like that. That's probably the hardest. Even when the small role I did in Fatal Desires, when I have to get in front of the camera, and I'm also worried about telling the lighting guy what to do, telling the camera guy what to do, telling the sound guy what to do, telling the actors what to do, and then I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing. Like, it's a lot of work, man. So to date, Heartbreak Killer are some of the hardest things I've had to shoot.
I think JG has a good closer question, so we'll bring that one up.
Oh, okay.
What made Fred want to do Jacko 2 rather than any of his other flicks?
I kind of can't say too much on that. There is a reason, but I don't think Fred. I don't think I can say anything on that. But I'll say this. Before, and I don't even know if I can say it, so I'll give you as much information as I can without saying it. He was trying to put another movie together, and we were working for the past couple of months. We were working towards this movie, and he called me up, and he's like, "Sean, we got to switch gears. I want to make Jacko 2. How do you feel about it?" And I was like, "Well, I was really excited about the other one." But I was like, "With that being said, Fred, I'm happy to help you with anything." So, but specifically why he wants to make this, I really don't know that much, but I don't think I can really kind of tell you too much either. But this is what he's doing. Like you said, that this movie has a following. Yes. What I'm going to try to bring to the table is assist Fred as much as I can. And if there's any kind of, if he wants to get gory or sleazy, that's what I manifest in, and I'll try to help push that as best as I can.
It's a fantastic.
We'll see what our brains colliding creates.
I'm excited to find out what that is. Yeah, the two of you together.
And Jacko, again, just on this channel, it randomly comes up. Everybody's like, I watch it every Halloween.
Right. Well, you know what helps it? It's a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Any Halloween movie is going to get talked about. Or I think any horror movie tied in with a holiday is going to get talked about. And one thing I'd like to mention this, Jacko. Sushi's on board, man. That's my go-to lady, man. So I'm really happy that she's involved. We'll see how that all works out. I hope her and Fred work well together. I'm sure it'll be fine. Sushi's really easygoing, so So that's really cool that she's, on board so far.
So it sounds like you've got some future legends, some past legends. Like the cast already is looking great. I mean, William, that's so cool to me. So once again, guys, as we close out here, you can click the link for Jacko 2. Once some of these perks are gone, they'll be gone, and they're going to be collectible. So you want to get in on it while you still can. I think this movie, I can't wait to review it. I think it'll be a Halloween tradition, much like the first one.
Yeah, we'll try to, when it's all said and done, I'll try to get Fred to come on. We can all do it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Absolutely. And yeah, once again, Fatal Desires, you guys will be able to check that out soon. There's some the screening in Tampa. We'll put all that information in the
and I'm trying to, it's not official yet, but I'm trying to get, because I'll be at Cinema Wasteland in Ohio in October. I'm going to try to get them to show it there too. So I've got a couple showings planned. We'll see what happens, but those are the only two that are kind of in the works.
Okay. So yeah, guys, check that out. Cinema Wasteland is one of the great cons. So if you're in the Ohio area or want to fly out to that, I can personally recommend it as well. And Sean, thank you so much for coming back on. And
I always have a fun time with you guys, man.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. Can't wait to hear more about Jacko 2 and all your other projects. So
thanks for having me, and thanks everyone who checked it out.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Good night for now.